So Ace and I recently got around to watching Jordan Peele's 2022 film Nope, which turned out to be one of my favorite films of last year. That made us realize that we had never gotten around to watching 2019's Us. So Ace and I sat down and watched that a few days later. Both of these movies, seriously, I cannot recommend them enough. But we got toward the end of Us, and spoilers for basically the entire movie here. Seriously, go watch it if you haven't already, but if you've already seen it. I looked over at Ace and said, "Doesn't this seem kind of backroomsy?" And Ace said, "No, the Backrooms have been around longer than this movie. There's no possible way." So once the movie was over, we Googled it and found that the initial 4chan post which kicked off the Backrooms phenomenon was dated May 12th, 2019. And Us was released to American theaters March 22nd, 2019. Oh. So, I did a quick search of Us, the Backrooms site, reddit.com, because only the hottest of takes are going to be over there. And I wanted to see if anyone else had noticed this odd coincidence. I mean, sure, okay, they're not identical, but we're talking about this otherworldly subterranean area that is admittedly populated, but has this stark design, especially in the film's climax when the population of the tunnels have evacuated to the surface of America. The Backrooms, on the other hand, deals with no clipping out of reality into a seemingly endless series of rooms that lead nowhere and are impossibly big, all lit with gaudy fluorescent bulbs which hum to no end. Okay, admittedly, the tunnels in Us and the Backrooms are a few degrees off, though similarities exist that I find hard to deny. Namely, that you no-clip out of reality, as though slipping or falling, as it is often depicted in fan films, where the tunnels in Us exist underground, meaning that when our main character Addie travels underground via a tunnel entrance in a funhouse, she's kind of slipping through reality and into the tunnel realm, which is kind of a parallel dimension in a way, though like in a literal sense, it makes sense if you've seen it. Not to mention the gaudy lighting that ensures the shadows in Us that have been living down here for however long they've existed means they never have any darkness. And even if these hallways are supposed to be white, the light ends up making them look pretty yellow, kind of like the walls in the Backrooms. You might say that this is conclusion-based thinking, and frankly, you're right, I just kind of thought this was a fun thought experiment. I'm not saying that the Backrooms stole from Us, merely that the close proximity of the film's release and the original posting on the X board may indicate some amount of inspiration. It wasn't stolen, but perhaps it was lifted or taken. And since we don't have any known author for the original Backrooms post, we can never know if they saw Us or not. But the idea is still intriguing. I looked to see if anybody else had noticed this connection on Reddit. The top result was from r/the Backrooms in 2019. With top commenters basically denying the connection, and someone from 2022 who had the same idea as me. Someone else on r/the Uncanny from 2021 had the same idea and didn't get any comments on their post. Another post from r/the Backrooms, this time in 2022, reached the same conclusion, again with no comments. Another post from r/the Backrooms in 2022 debated the origins of the idea. Though it didn't name drop Us specifically, people in the comments listed some other potential influences, with some people even claiming the concept dates back to either the 2000s or about 2010. I'd be really interested to know what these people are talking about. And lastly, in terms of relevant posts, I came across another one from 2019 in r/art, which is a picture of the Backrooms, where the top comment mentions that it looks kind of like a location from Us. Again, we don't even have an author to question about this connection. And even if we did, we may run into a situation like Suzanne Collins, author of the Hunger Games series, who has maintained for more than a decade at this point that she had no knowledge of the book or film Battle Royale until after her first novel was completed. Then it becomes a whole thing where other people claim that there's no possible way Collins couldn't have known, and it just frankly becomes a big mess, and you just end up believing whoever you believe. In other words, even if we did have an author of the Backrooms post, there's no real way of knowing whether or not inspiration was taken from Us, because only the person who wrote it knows about their inspirations. Side note here, Ace mentioned to me that while the 4chan post was made in 2019, the image itself was from earlier. The Lost Media Wiki explains that it was earlier posted on B in 2018, with metadata from the image indicating that it was initially uploaded to 4chan on July 15th, 2012. However, given that archives of that time period don't exist, well, There's a reason the original image and context are on the Lost Media Wiki. They also note in the article that the image's metadata indicates the camera which took the image was manufactured between 2001 and 2002. For that reason, they extrapolate that the image was even older than 2012. Granted, the image is older than I initially believed when I started this video, but we're talking about someone who took inspiration from that image and wrote the post which caught everyone's eye. So, could it be that they took this older image, saved on their hard drive from 4chan years prior probably, and the recently released Us, and then smashed them together? Could be. Like with my previous video of this type, concerning the origins of the phrase GBJ, I'm not casting aspersions on anyone involved here. I respect the grind of whoever wrote that original post, and all the people who have taken that simple 2-paragraph concept and adapted it into a myriad of different things at this point. I merely wanted to bring it up to highlight the possibility that this film had a direct influence on arguably one of the biggest pieces of horror pop culture of the 2020s so far. What do you think though? Could there be a connection or no? And what other odd connections like this have you observed but not really seen other people discuss? Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.
Shout out to furries.